I think a lot of business owners are listening and they're going, I would never describe myself as an innovator, right? Like I think
I thought the same
innovation,
thing.
and you think the Tesla or the iPod, and you think of these big things in the headlines that have changed history. But you're saying this is just saying, hey, what if there was a better solution? And it's just those incremental steps
Exactly.
to get there.
Exactly. So let me give you an example right now. So this is literally, I'm working on this today, right? So one of the big focus areas for News Story as an organization is trying to rethink micro mortgages for the poorest families, right? So there's a long list of reasons why the interest rates are so high, why these families can't get access to a mortgage, right? Which makes sense. It makes sense why they can't. It's insanely hard. But we are trying to envision what it would look like if they actually did have access. And then we're reverse engineering what would that look like, right? And how could we actually do it? And maybe there's a technology that's really important, that's part of it. Maybe there's not, right? Maybe there's not a lot of technical innovation whatsoever. It's more of designing and getting to and problem solving a solution that can then provide a better value to your customer. And you can do a lot more of that than you realize. You just have to really break it down and be intentional about setting small goals and milestones that you can get to. And I think for me and for our team, the more that we made progress against some of these smaller milestones and goals, not only do we get confidence to go even bigger the next time, but you're also then getting funding, right? You're either getting more revenue or more customers that are going to want to buy what you're starting to prove is better value to them than the competitors.
Wow. And you talk about dreaming big a lot, but I love that you couch it by saying start small. Because a lot of people think if you have these big visions, you've got to take these giant risks, and that's innovation. But a lot of what you talk about, you're asking that question, what would it take? And then you're reverse engineering that with those small steps. Have you found that to be the path?
Absolutely. I mean, I think different leaders have their own styles. I'm not a let's bet it all, let's take insane risk. I really like taking calculated risk that if they work, could provide just outsized value, right? Like it's doing something that is, you're not going to get an incremental or linear improvements, but you're going to really get a big step or a quantum leap in how something's done. And to get there, you have to choose what are a few things that you're going to be willing to try, that you're going to put some of your best people on. If they fail, which some of them definitely will, and we've had a lot of things that have failed, you're going to learn and you're not going to sink the company, right? And so Jim Collins has a great concept that is, people hear it all the time, but it's this idea of firing bullets before cannonballs, right? So if you only have so much budget, if you only have so many people, you only have so many resources, and you have a conviction on one thing that you think could really add value to your customers, do you just bet it all and put all of your ammo, meaning your money and your people, into one cannonball and then fire it at the ship and hope it hits? That's pretty risky, right? Because it might not. Or do you do bullets where you're using way less ammunition, but you're getting multiple shots and you're learning and your aim is getting better every time. And then once you know something's working and there's traction, that's when you can go invest, right? You can go raise money against that if you need outside capital, or you can just start doing it because you know it's working. So I'm such a proponent of starting small and firing bullets before cannonballs.
Yeah, we've adopted that Jim Collins model here at EntreLeadership, here at Ramsey, and it changes the game because it takes the pressure off of, hey, if this fails, we've sunk.
Totally.
It just goes, okay, we learned a little something there. Oh, and that worked. Let's chase that down. And so I love that model. And when it comes to these dreams, some of these business owners out there listening, it can get obsessive when you start to have these. Like, having vision is great, but having it take over your life because it's an obsession, that can be dangerous. So how do you chase that dream without it becoming an obsession?
Well, this is a tricky one, to be honest, and it's something that I've worked through a lot in the last couple of years. I think for me, ideally, you have a healthy obsession. It's just I think it's hard to find a growing organization where somebody at the top does not have some level of obsession about things getting better, about raising the standard. Like you need to have that drive, and of course, you have to be wise and smart about the other things that matter most in your life, and you need to set an example for your team as well. And so, what I've learned is the first thing that I did. I took a sabbatical when I turned 30, which is pretty young to take a sabbatical. I was encouraged by my best friend, Mike Arrieta, and then a board member of ours as well to just go take a sabbatical, zoom out. We know that you're obsessed with what you're working on. Fortunately, there's been some success. Like it's been a good start. And so as you prepare for the next decade, you really need to get clarity on what matters most. And so for me, the framework that I did was I zoomed out. I took a whole month. You may not have to do that, but I got clarity on what truly matters most that I'm saying, and I made a one page. I call it a rule of life. And for the season that I'm in right now, where I'm not married, I don't have kids, but my faith is really important to me. My family, my friends, things outside of work have become more important to me. And also dating somebody very serious, so that's very important to me. And I've just made the priorities, and I've set up habits and rhythms where I need to execute on those. Just like I want to execute on the business objectives that I have and the business goals, you need to also apply that same mindset and that discipline to the other things in your life. And so I think you can do both. It's insanely hard. I think it's usually the dichotomy of every ambitious leader. But I would encourage you to get clarity on what truly matters, write it out, and then create a plan of how you're going to execute against it.